Hey guys, it's BSJ back with a quick gameplay update 7.28a. So this is going to be somewhat of a meta update as well. Just talking about the brief changes we've seen, or small changes I would say, to the heroes that they believed were a little bit too broken or a little bit too shitty.
Banana slam jam.
So Alchemist looks like they reduced the Greevil stack duration slightly. I didn't see too much of this hero, but he did receive a lot of buffs, so maybe his win rate had skyrocketed. Arc Warden, I had seen a lot of this hero, and he felt tough to play against. So it looks like they just gave him a little bit of tweaks, just a little bit on the base strength and some on the talents, but not too big of a deal. I think the hero is probably pretty much the same. They gave Axe's Shard a little bit more attack speed, no big deal. Batrider 5 movement speed, that actually matters. You during Firefly, you have percent-based movement speed bonus, and this adds up. Makes it like 6 or 7 instead of 5 all game on a hero that relies on walking around a lot. Track Shard Vision reduced from 800 to 600. Yeah, we talked about that during the patch review, that was probably a really strong shard. It made it so that you had basically the old track, but instead of like the full vision, you just had 800. And the old track used to be broken. So the fact that you could get the old track with 1,400 gold definitely was scary. So it makes sense that they would want to reduce that vision. Broodmother made it so the Bola now deals damage. It rooted, so I guess the goal here... Oh, it's 75 damage per second. Oh, DPS, yes. So 150 damage. That's not bad. Strict upgrade to the ability. Okay. Cancels blinks like after the root's done as well. Death Pact reduced in damage later on. Hadn't seen any clinks this patch. They also nerfed his level 15 talent. Enigma, I had seen a lot of. The new Ag Shard seems really broken. So they also buffed Refresher Orb, which was a big deal for Enigma. One of the few heroes in the game that buys a Refresher Orb the majority of games. So the cooldown reduction kind of makes sense because they reduce the cooldown of Refresher Orb. Invoker Ice Wall Shard increases wall length. So they made his shard even better. So maybe we'll be seeing more of that on Invoker. Now, Juggernaut's Ags and Ag Shard did seem really strong. They increased the cooldown on the Ags, and they reduced the cast range. And then they also made it so that the Blade Fury attack damage is only 75% instead of 100. I had actually not gotten the chance to test Jug, but I had played against it twice and did feel really strong, especially the Ag Shard, where the Jug's just spinning on you and killing you. So I think these are good little tweaks for him. I think this is a decent buff to Coddle because the 525 should kill melee creeps now. Usually your Illuminate would leave them alive with just a fraction, like a little sliver of health. So that's a pretty huge buff to me, and I felt like the hero was already picked a decent amount. And now they buffed his Chakra Magic at all levels, especially level 1, that's really noticeable. Solar Bind got nerfed level 1, but buffed level 3 and 4. Okay. I feel like Coddle's going to be a strong hero in this patch. A lot of people were already picking him, experimenting with him, and now they just buff him. I'm a little confused. Maybe his win rate is bad or something, but it felt good whenever he was in my games. Tidal Wave mana cost reduced drastically and cooldown reduced. Okay. Maybe it's an item worth buying on Kunkka now, the Ag Shard. Not sure about this one. Deals 225 damage. That's not terrible. 14-second cooldown. That plus your cleave should always clear a wave. Maybe the cleave already did anyways. Interval nerfed, so it takes longer, but it happens immediately. Oh. It's kind of weird that it would be intervals of 2 seconds, but then the duel is 5.5. So it's like the max duel doesn't do any more than the level 1 duel. It's a bit peculiar. Scepter no longer causes you to take increased damage. Yeah, it's probably... That Ags is so much worse than his old one, so that would make sense. Lifestealer, base damage increased by 3. The slow at level 1 drastically improved. Rage, more movement speed, open wounds. So I will say that a lot of the heroes I had a general idea were weak. It seems like they're buffing them. A few of them I didn't really play yet, but Lifestealer I played once, and he definitely felt really weak in lane. So these buffs all make sense to me because the 10% slow level 1 is drastically better than the 6. And the 3 base damage increase is pretty significant on a hero that attacks pretty fast. And all of his damage is attack. I feel like the hero's probably still not very good, though. to be honest with you. The Rage mana cost is insane. The Rage and Infest mana cost made no sense to me. In the past, Infest was 50 mana, and now it's 200 at max level. It's 100, 150, 200. I feel like 200 is ludicrous. Like, there was one fight that I Raged, Infested, and Halberded, and I was out of mana. And I was full mana prior to that. Like, he doesn't like building mana items. There's no mana item he wants to build. Like, Echo Saber doesn't feel really that good. So, it's a mana problem he'll always have. Mana Drain Shard attack speed reduction increased. Wow. So if Lion's stunning himself, he can now reduce your attack speed by 120. Savage Roar Shard duration increased from 4 to 5. I know that's like a buff to your team. So with the cooldown being reduced with the talent, this could be pretty strong. Stun duration increased, whatever. Lycan seemed a little bit overtuned. His laning stage, as well as the Wolves being buffed without him around. I played against Lycan a few times, felt really strong. Mirana, a little bit of nerfs to the talents, no big deal. They did nerf the Shadow Tree Dance Shard cooldown on Monkey King. That is definitely broken. Like, the shard itself was broken, and I think it's still a necessary purchase, and I still think Monkey King's really good. I just feel like all this does is make it so he has to do his job a little bit worse. Wrath of Nature Scepter duration from 3 seconds max to 3.4. I feel like this was already pretty good, and I feel like Nature's Prophet was already seeing a pretty good amount of play, so that's a bit weird to me. The fact that his ult's a stun, or like a root, makes you stop moving, seems pretty insane. The fact that it now almost has 100% uptime as well on the bonus damage when you get the Ags, because the cooldown gets reduced, I believe, right? Am I crazy? Nyx Assassin, Impale mana cost, more early, less later. Vendetta mana cost increased. All I want to say about this hero is this one guy, Barca, has been spamming it, and he just goes Dagon 5 first item, and he like one-shots people who have 2,000 health. It's very strange. I don't even know if it's good in like competitive, but in pubs, it's definitely fun, and you guys could probably have a good time with it. He plays Nyx Assassin mid and just goes treads Dagon 5. I'm not saying it's good, guys, but it looks hilarious. So if you want to have some fun in your low MMR games or maybe a turbo or low rank game or whatever, it sounds pretty fun. Base damage reduced by 3 and Ignite mana cost increased. Yeah, I mean, the Ogre used to have like 60-something base damage. Now it's like 52 or some shit. It's terrible. Yeah, 53. That's pretty big because in lane, most of Ogre's damage is like fighting you with right clicks. This is added up. I think they've nerfed his base damage by like 8 total. Hammer of Purity Shard base damage increased from 25 to 50. Still haven't tried this yet. The Omni Knight carry. I wonder if it's good or not. If you went like Treads Radiance or Phase Boots Soul Ring Radiance. Kind of want to try it out. Similar to Wraith King, but instead of having 2 lives, you just have a bajillion status resistance. Maybe. OD, the hero with like a 20% win rate in my bracket, got 5 movement speed, more arcane orb damage, lower cooldown at lower levels, sanity eclipse radius increased, and talent buffs. Is it enough? Tune in next time to find out. I know the hero got drastically reworked, and every time OD gets drastically reworked or any other hero gets drastically reworked, they usually get played suboptimally. So I think these win rates are like really skewed. Like if you're playing a hero with the wrong items and the wrong idea of the hero, which happens when they get reworked. I do believe what happened last time with OD is that he got reworked. His win rate was like 35%. They buffed him twice, and suddenly he was like the most broken hero in Dota. So I just want to tell you guys to keep an eye out for this hero and don't underestimate him. Phantom Assassin, strike attack speed, reduced at all levels by 25. Okay, I think this hero definitely needed a nerf. Spirit Lance Shard illusion damage increased from 20 to 30%. Oh, that's okay. Okay, so usually around the time you'd want a shard, you hit for like 150. With the agility, you hit for 200. Something like that. So this is 20 damage on your shard illusion. Okay, okay. And there's 2 of them. Dismember Shard. I assume it does Yeah, I guess it just buffs all your Spirit Lances too, so it's kind of nice. Dismember Shard now reduces cooldown by 7 always, instead of by half when used on allies. What's the cooldown of this? 20? So it's just way worse. Weird. Sleeping Dart cooldown reduced. Didn't really see this item much, or this like Shard upgrade much. It's kind of weird that you'd put people to sleep on Ricky because you want to kill them really fast. Like, usually you use the element of surprise, and it's kind of like Bane nightmaring somebody and then, like, waiting to go on them. Bit weird. Arcane Supremacy cast range increased. Dude, I thought Rubik was already pretty fucking good, dude. 250 cast range. Can I just say that I got nightmared by a Rubik in a game today by, like, from, like, literally off screen. He had, like, an Ether Lens. Does he still have the cast range talent? He still has 100 cast range. Like, I don't know, man. I got fucking grabbed from off screen. That shit's nuts. Ether Lens, he's got 600 extra cast range. I don't think this is okay. Why are they buffing this? Very strange. Shackle Shard's ward's duration reduced. This shit was kind of funny. You'd see people, like, push towers, clear creep waves just by shackling a creep. So the weird thing about Slark, just got done playing him. I think he's still a 10th pick hero. I think he still needs, like, a really good game. This is a nice buff for him. Because it needs to be like a good Slark game, this is good against all the heroes that are bad against Slark. Ones that like lack mobility. Ones that maybe just have to run around and instead of dodging you, you can shard them. Like use the fish bait. It's nice. I think this item before was like unpurchasable. So I'll have to try it out at some point. In the game I played, it didn't make sense, so I haven't gotten to try it yet. Level 10 talent. Concussive Grenade now deals damage. I actually casted the Arcage game earlier, and Snipers was picked and bought this item, and it looks so bad. So I guess this damage buff wasn't enough because it still looked bad, but we'll see. Nether Strike Shard no longer changes cast behavior. Now gives 2 seconds of spell immunity after cast is successful. Okay, so they already deemed that to be way too strong. Spearbreaker being able to guaranteed cast his ult seemed pretty broken. So now they've made it so you get a little bit of buff afterwards. So not nearly as good. Psionic Trap Silence duration increased. Okay, that's from the Ag Shard. Demon Zeal Shard movement speed bonus from 25 to 50 and the duration to 7. So I had tried this because it had originally said 25% movement speed, but it was only 25. And I think 25% movement speed would have been really strong. So 50 movement speed sounds pretty strong. I still want to try Mask of Madness Terrorblade because 50 move speed, 50 attack speed, that's pretty dope as long as you have the sustain to use it. So Mask of Madness is the only item I could really think that would do that. Gotta try this out. Flamethrower Shard DPS increased from 75 to 90. 100 mana. Honestly, it sounds really good, dude. You don't, like, direct it or anything. It's just in front of you. Timbersaw always has a lot of money. Like, when he's having a good game. Like, if you pick him in a good Timbersaw game. So suddenly you're just slowing people in front of you. Usually at that point, 100 mana is kind of whatever. I want to try that out for sure. It looks pretty cool. Defense Matrix shield damage increased. And the duration increased. This shit seems nuts. 40% status resist. And I still assume it gets refreshed by your rearm, so that sounds pretty nuts. Maybe it doesn't, though. Frozen Sigil buffed in movement speed, and movement speed slow increased. Wow, okay. They only did this, by the way, to give Tusk cosmetics back, honestly. I actually have to check Tusk. Does he have a shard cosmetic now? He does. Fiji Gaming is back, baby. That's why they did this, by the way. Venge. So I had experimented with Venge. I said she was underwhelming in the side lanes. I could really only see her in the mid lane because of her early game being super weak, but she scales really well with levels. I treated her like a sniper for the first 5 levels, where she's super squish and vulnerable to ganks and like getting 2-man ran at. So I just got done getting coached by Koikfa, and he even said he's been experimenting with Vengeful Spirit mid. So keep your eyes out for Vengeful Spirit mid. Apparently Thompson's been doing it too. They not only buffed her early CSing with Wave of Terror, but they also buffed her level 1 aura. So suddenly her weakness point that I was talking about is much less weak. It's much stronger, so it's pretty scary. I think Venge mid will be a thing. I don't know about an NA. Quakeflix expressed his hesitation as well. It is a hero that says, I'm going to buy an Ags and a bunch of auras and carry me. And a lot of times people just don't carry you, so we'll have to see about that one. Viper, Poison Shard, max stack increase to 3. Okay. Silent as the Grave Scepter upgrade no longer provides flying vision. That shit was beyond busted. I showed you guys a game on YouTube already from my Visage experiment, and flying vision on Batrider in the past was beyond broken. Most heroes that ever had flying vision were nerfed. Like Batrider used to have it. I believe Wyvern used to have it. And the fact that you fly on Visage, I think, is enough. And if you go to high grounds with wards, you still get the vision you used to get. But now you're like Wyvern during her Arctic Burn. So I think this was 100% necessary. That shit was nuts. Wraith King's Mortal Strike damage reduced at all levels by 10%. Hero, I think, is still strong. I don't think this changes anything. It just makes him slightly weaker. That's all I really got to say about that one. Static Field damage reduced. It's a good nerf, though. Static Field damage reduced by 2% at all levels. That's harsh. I thought Zeus was already on the fence like before this nerf. Maybe he was seen a shit ton in low MMRs. Maybe he was seen a shit ton in other regions, but I think he was already on the fence. So I think we're kind of still in the same spot with this meta. I think some of these heroes got drastically changed. Like Visage, I think maybe still okay, but not so hot anymore. I think Vengeful Spirit's the new hot shit. I really want to check her out. Still want to try Slark in a broken Slark game. Still think he's like a 10th pick. I think PL's really making a comeback. I've already been trying him a bit with good success. I still need to try Omni Knight carry. Please, if you guys try it, let me know. Yeah, a lot of these heroes, I think I like a lot of these changes. But when it comes to moving forward, I honestly haven't had any time to play since the last update. So I'll try to keep you guys posted from anything as I see from this patch. But I like the changes. Keep in mind the impacts that they may have. And thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.